Good afternoon. My name is Ann Bishop. I work with Therapy Gardens. So I've been here before, but I'm a retired pediatric nurse practitioner, and my master's degree is in public health, specializing in health education. So when this job opportunity came up, I jumped at it because it's kind of nice to have something to do in retirement, and all the topics that we talk about are things that are pretty near and dear to my heart. So today we're talking about how you can get better sleep. And the disclaimer tells us that we get this information from the Harvard Health Publishing, the Mayo Clinic, and other trusted sources. And that medical and sleep needs vary, and this information is meant as a guide to help you. But many of you may have health problems that interfere with your sleep or medications that interfere with your sleep. And so this is general information, but it may need to be tailored to your specific needs. Facts about sleep. We spend a third of our lifetime sleeping. While sleep patterns have changed over time, our need for sleep has not. The current world record for going without sleep is about 11 days. We know that sleep deprivation is a form of torture. That's been well documented. And poor sleep has real health consequences, which we'll talk about. So why do we sleep? So sleep makes us feel better, like eating when we're hungry, but why do we need it? No one really knows. There are theories that tell us that as we evolved, inactive safety theory, that sleeping in the dark to hide from predators. So many animals sleep in the dark, although not all. Energy conservation theory, it helps reduce your energy use, so you are building up your energy for the next day. Restorative theories, we do know that it enhances muscle growth, helps with tissue repair, helps with our skin. And brain plasticity theory, that it helps with memory. And plenty of studies have shown that college students, they study them all the time about their practices for preparing for exams and things, and what works best if you're cramming or if you do it 12 hours before the test or 24 hours before the test. So a lot of different theories on what helps with memory retention, and also plenty of meditation people will tell you if you have a problem and you meditate on it and then you go to sleep, you often will wake up with the solution. It's somehow in the middle of the night, your brain processes all the options and then comes up with the solution. And I personally have found that to be true. As we age, we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, I was a nurse practitioner in a hospital working 16-hour shifts. So now nurses work 12-hour shifts regular basis, but back then you worked an 8-hour shift. But if they asked you to do a double, it was 16 hours, so you were not getting very much sleep. Taking care of really sick people. I was at Boston Floating Hospital where all the children were really very ill. And then you become a working mom, and you're working and you're taking care of a family, you're not getting a lot of sleep. So we really test ourselves. Some people can be disciplined and go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, but most people are staying up much later and not getting a lot of sleep. And we retire and we think, well, it's going to be easier to get sleep, but that's not always true. Insomnia can be caused by pain, and so a lot of people suffer with arthritis and leg cramps, and as I said before, certain medications. Stress and anxiety can contribute. If you're, as a grandparent, you might be really worried about your child or your child's child, and you're thinking about the problem that they're going through, or maybe a health issue, and you don't have a lot of other things to distract you, so that's really high on your thought process, and that can get in the way of your sleep. And it will deteriorate with age, so they say. My mother lived to be 103 in 8 months. Always have to add in the 8 months. And she went to bed at 9:30 every night and woke up at 9 o'clock every morning. So she was not bothered by sleep problems. The consequences from lack of sleep or poor quality sleep is a risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression, obesity, memory problems and forgetfulness, risk of accidents or falls, and increased irritability. And that's because you don't wake up rested and because your body needs that nighttime sleep in order to be healthy, in order for it to, the body to rejuvenate during the night. The good news is that there are a lot of steps you can take to improve both the length and quality of your sleep, and I'm sure many of you have tried them. Have people tried melatonin? Yeah, and does it work? Yep. See, we have what is called biological variability. It's going to work for some of us and it's not going to work for others. There's also something called Calm that you can buy at Whole Foods. There are lots of tips that we'll get into later on, but for some people you'll say, oh my God, I tried that and I slept like a baby, and other people will say, that didn't help me at all. So we have multiple ways to address that. So tip number 1, follow a regular sleep schedule. Try to wake up and go to sleep at a similar time every day. This allows your body to have a rhythm or circadian rhythm. Follow the same sleep routines on weekends as you do during the week. Hard to do. That's when we're often socializing. Although sometimes for retired people, the weekends can be the same as a weekday. And a weekday can be like a weekend because you can do whatever you want most of the time. Messing with your body rhythm can cause stress hormones to release, which interrupts your sleep. So a sleep schedule. Now, as an adjunct professor at Simmons University, I had a class called Health Education in a global perspective. So it was recognizing that nurse practitioners were going to be taking care of people from all different ethnic backgrounds and cultures. So what you would say to one person may not work for another person. So you had to adapt your health education to the person's culture and way of life. And so every student had to pick one person who wanted to make a behavior change, such as increase exercise, lose weight, or get better sleep. Better sleep was one of the top things that people would pick that they wanted to do. And then students would look at a behavior change theory that would help the patient get into a routine that would increase their sleep. And the first thing that everyone had to do was come up with a regular sleep schedule. So if a person said, well, I go to bed at midnight and I get up at 5, then I go exercise and then I go to work. Well, 5 hours of sleep wasn't giving you what you needed, and you were aware that not getting enough sleep was not good for you. So can you go from midnight to 9? Probably not. So the students would help the person set earlier bedtime routines slowly. It might take the whole, they had to work with the patient for 8 weeks. It might take the whole 8 weeks to get them to say 10 o'clock at night. And they would chart it. They would make a chart. When you chart something, even if you're the only one using the chart, it does give you a sense of accountability. There you have your chart that you've made up, and you've got the times that you went to bed each night. And then you start to say to yourself, oh, I didn't do so good last night, let me try a little better tonight. So actually putting a chart together in order to increase your sleep time is a really helpful thing. Oh, that's number 2. Avoid napping in the late afternoon. Well, again, that's kind of hard for people to do as they age. They get tired in the day, but it is one of the things that will interrupt your sleep later on when you want to go to sleep. So naps, while beneficial, should really never be taken late in the day or in the evening. So you want to try to take a nap before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, these are suggestions. That's not going to happen all the time, and you just might have had a very busy morning and be totally exhausted at 3 o'clock and lie down for a half an hour or an hour. That's what you do. But in general, it's better not to nap in the afternoon. Number 3 is develop a routine. So what do you do before you go to bed at night? Let's say you want to go to bed at night at 10. Well, at 9:45, you've got to wash your face, brush your teeth, get into your pajamas, and figure out what you're going to do at 10. Whether that means you're going to read a book, or maybe you want to take a shower or a bath. Maybe this is the time that you meditate. There are so many meditation apps now for free, or ones that you pay, but you get something for free. So Calm will give you some sleep routine meditations. 10% Happier, the Dan Harris app that he created after he had a meltdown on national TV. And that's all he does now. And I actually subscribe to that. Every morning there's a 15-minute meditation on how to get your day going, how to deal with a difficult emotion, how to be open to the universe, how to feel more restful, less anxious. But there's also lots of nighttime presentations. There's R2 Relax. It's or is it Relax 2? Relax 2. Breathe to Relax, that's what it is. Breathe to Relax. And you go on that website and you'll pick an amount of time that you want to do some deep breathing. You'll pick pictures, whether you want to look at an ocean or you want to look at mountains or you want to look at a botanical garden. They will give you music that you can pick, and you just lie down and listen to the music and do the breathing exercise that they will set for you. And you decide how long your breath intake and outtake is going to be. So it's very personalized and it's free. So listening to calming music or sounds, there's on all those apps, there's music, especially on Calm, they have music. And Insight Timer is another one that gives you a lot of free apps, and they have beautiful music. Have a small cup of herbal tea, chamomile, lavender, mint tea. And if you're going someplace the next day, have everything set up that you need for the morning. So I think the most important thing is you're watching a TV show, maybe it's a game, maybe it's a series, and you know it's going to get over at 11 o'clock, and you're going to be tired at 11 o'clock, and you might not feel like going through your bedtime routine. So try to change your habit to get your bedtime routine done before that late night TV show that you're going to watch. So when it's over, you can just turn off the TV and go to bed. You don't have to go, I have to brush my teeth now. So getting a routine is very individual, specific to you. If you live with somebody, they might have a totally different routine. That could be problematic, but you can try to work that out together. Use white noise. This does not work for me until I bought an air purifier because of COVID, and it makes some noise, and I found that it was really very restful. My son gave me a sound machine, but none of those sounds really relaxed me. But for some people, they do. But I found that sort of really low white noise from the air purifier was very peaceful. You can hear it in a fan and in an air conditioner. And like I said, there's many nature sounds on all those apps, and many cell phones have a white noise app. Amazing what you can find on your phones. No electronic devices. This is a lot harder for young people than for us maybe, but maybe not. Maybe that's when you look at what happened today in the news, and you start looking through and reading articles, and then you're getting all agitated because of what you're reading. So we try to encourage people not to stare at a screen for at least an hour before bedtime. The light from these devices can prevent you from falling asleep, so You might fall asleep in a bedroom that has a TV and it still has, you shut off the TV, but there's still a light from the TV and a light from the box. You might want to just put a box of Kleenex in front of it or something to block out that extra light. Shut your door, so you might have a light in the hallway in case you have to get up at night and you don't want to fall, but shut the door to your bedroom. Cell phones, you can put them on sleep mode, do not disturb. You kind of probably want to still keep a cell phone near you in case of an emergency, but you don't have to have it on, getting text messages and notifications. Tablets and computers, television sets, all should be off. We'll talk a little bit later about how to set up your bedroom according to feng shui, and they don't want any electronics in your bedroom at all. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Kindles and e-readers that are backlit, if you're going to be reading at night, not from a book, then those can be very helpful too. And again, cell phones can be distracting and cause sleep problems, but they might be a tool for emergencies. So set the do not disturb time, set up exceptions for certain calls or callers, and choose low light or warmer light settings. So, you can just go to your settings, brightness, and lower the brightness bar. How to use low lighting before bedtime? Use low lighting signals to your body that it's time to sleep. So you go into a dark room and your body says, ooh, all right, not going to be too energetic now. Light helps regulate the circadian rhythms, the body's internal clock that signals when to be alert and when to rest. Light also affects the production of melatonin, an essential sleep-promoting hormone, and sleep in as dark a room as possible. So if you don't have light darkening shades, that could be a problem. You really want to try to make sure that there isn't a lot of light coming in your windows. You can also buy light darkening curtains. That will be helpful. So if the light is coming in early in the morning in your home and it's really waking you up way before you want to wake up, you might want to think about that. You might want to think about getting some light darkening shades or curtains. And here's our friend melatonin that works for some people but not for others. Many people take melatonin supplements, and the science is inconclusive. We don't have enough studies for it. Studies cost money. Somebody has to propose to a university or a medical facility or a government agency and say, I want to do this study, and then they have to say how many people are going to be in the study and how it's going to work and how long it's going to take and what are the measures going to be. It's a big deal to do a study to prove things. So money is tighter right now, so it isn't, we can't just willy-nilly pick a topic. They have to be topics that are really important, and this is an important topic, and there are studies out there about melatonin. But again, I told my students one of their lessons was they had to find a health article from the media. So it was a newspaper article or a magazine article or something they saw on the internet, and they would have to look up the author. And so the topic would be a health-related topic, but sometimes the author was not anyone credentialed in that area. They were just somebody assigned the topic to write about. And then they would quote a study, but sometimes the study would be 10 people in Bangladesh. That's not really relatable to what we might be thinking about. And then there's always at the end of a research article the pros and cons, but in the article in the public press, you might not see that. So the students would have to look up the original article that the media article was taken from, and they would often find that they were not reporting the full story. And we all know that you can go all over whether we should drink red wine or not drink red wine, whether we should fast or not fast. There's just a lot of information out there, so you want to make sure that wherever you're getting it from is a really safe place. And I guess bottom line, I would say you can always get good information from the Mayo Clinic. They're well documented, they're well respected, and they have an answer for everything. So that is a good go-to place if you're looking for some information on a health topic. It's just mayoclinic.com. Exercise regularly. We all know we're supposed to do that. You don't have to raise your hand, but who does? I mean, sometimes you're forced into it. I have a lovely titanium knee. That's because I exercised. I was a runner, and that was the end of it for me a few years ago. And I exercised, but there was no choice. There was no cartilage left, and I had to get a new knee. And I'm very happy that I did, but it's not going to let me run again. So I had to change what I did, which was walk or use a bicycle, join a gym, do weightlifting exercises for your legs as well as your arms. So you have to think about where is your health level right now, where are your problems, and what kind of exercise would give you some help. They told me, so I had my knee surgery in January of 2010, just before COVID, not 2010, what am I saying? 2000, when was, oh, now we can't, 2020, right. So I had my surgery in January, and by March, we couldn't leave our house. So I was just able to drive a car and do some serious exercises when COVID hit and we were stuck in the house. But they told me that my left knee was going to need surgery in another 2 years. But that was 4 years ago, and I have no pain in my left knee whatsoever because I do those exercises 5 to 7 days a week without fail. It's just I get up in the morning, I have my morning drink, I turn on Good Morning America, I put my yoga mat down, I get out my weights, and I do my exercises. And I kind of think of my dad and mom every time because they always did that. They always exercised. My mom used to say she had 5 kids in 4 and 6 years, so she said, what kind of exercise did I need? I was exercising all day long. But even in her hundreds, my mother had a treadmill, and she would walk on the treadmill if she couldn't walk outside. And my dad swam and did sit-ups and isometric exercises all the time. So it's kind of in my family. But I thought because I was a runner, I didn't need to do any other exercises, but it turned out it wasn't right. So we do have to find a way to put exercise into our day. We bought my mother 1 pound weights. She loved Judge Judy, okay? So every day she would turn on Judge Judy, and towards the end of her life, someone was with her during the day. She lived in her own home until she passed. And we would just say, Mom, when you're watching Judge Judy, just, use the 1 pound weights, and when you're really mad at somebody, just shake them. Shake them. So she was very, very good about stuff like that. Exercise is great for your mental health. It releases those serotonins that make you happy. There was no high like a running high if you've ever talked to a runner. When you finish a race or you ran a good couple of miles, that euphoria is just intense. And my girlfriends and I talk about how we miss that. And fast walking just doesn't do it. But the only way we get a really high serotonin boost these days is by playing with our grandchildren. That just makes us feel happy. But you're not supposed to exercise 3 hours before going to bed. And avoid caffeine and alcohol. So if you're a coffee drinker, again, you can find all kinds of studies that say 1 cup of coffee, 3 cups of coffee, this is going to do this to you, this is going to do that to you. You know your body. If you have 2 cups of coffee and your heart is racing and you're charging around the house, then you've had too much caffeine. If you have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and 1 cup of coffee in the afternoon to give you a little boost, and that's fine for you, then that's fine for you. but drinking it at dinner time is probably not a good idea. And alcohol is a depressant, but it interferes with your sleep as well. So those are things that you should try to stay away from as you're getting ready for bed. Drinking water. Make yourself a pitcher with water and sliced lemons and limes, cucumbers, any kind of fruit, actually, you can infuse in your water to give you a, I'm losing my microphone here, to give you a nice, refreshing, cool drink in the evening, or you can make yourself a cup of tea. Mom was a great tea drinker. Avoid large meals at bedtime. So, my mother always said, breakfast, eat like a king, lunch, eat like a prince, dinner, eat like a pauper. You're supposed to eat the less amount of food at night. So her main meal would be in the afternoon, and then at night she would have a sandwich or something. I can't do that yet. I'm still like, dinner is dinner, and I really like dinner. But I eat less at dinner now than I used to eat. And usually try to eat before 7 o'clock so that you're not having a lot of food in your stomach as you're trying to sleep. If you do need something, if you just have the hungry horrors, small protein such as peanut butter on a whole wheat piece of bread or toast, cracker, Greek yogurt, you could put some fruit in that, a slice of turkey. Those all have things in them that help relax you and let you sleep better. So what to eat and avoid before bedtime. It's okay to eat breakfast. It's okay to eat before bed. Banana, wheat bread, peanut butter, Greek yogurt, lean turkey, milk, cherries, and almonds. Avoid pizza, burgers, alcohol, chocolate, cheese, ice cream, chips, cookies, and crackers. So ice cream at night, such a treat. A little cookie with your tea, such a treat. If it doesn't bother you, hey, it's fine. But if you notice that when you eat these sweets and it's really hard for you to fall asleep at night, well, that's your biological variability telling you this isn't good for you, and it's your choice. You can still have that if you want. It's your choice. And utilize counting or visualization. So counting sheep or just counting. So there's a lot of meditations that have you lie on your back in what they call corpse pose. So you just let your arms hang out to the side, let your feet go out to the side, rest your whole body into the bed, and breathe deeply and count. And that will signal your body that it should go into sleep mode. You don't have to really think about sheep if you don't want to. But you can, if you have a vision, like let's say you have a favorite vacation spot, and when you're there, you just feel fabulous, you can bring that up. I had a very intense job working with adolescents, and then I was teaching part-time at the college. But every summer, I went and stayed at my sister's house in Dennis, and I went to the Mayflower Beach. And the Mayflower Beach, when it's low tide, you could walk for miles. Yeah. And I would just sit on the sand and look out at the horizon and watch the boats go by. I would walk far enough away that there was nobody else there, so I'm not looking at people. And I would imprint that in my mind. And then I'd be sitting there after a particularly difficult student giving me a very hard time, would walk out of the office, and I would just shut my door for a minute and close my eyes and take myself to the beach and take a deep breath. And that really worked for me. And it also helps you not react to the people in your life that might be causing you some stress. Breathing techniques. Again, there's lots of breathing techniques out there, but regular deep breathing is very, very helpful. We know it lowers our blood pressure. We know it lowers our anxiety level. If you're going to have a medical procedure, you're laying there waiting for them to give you the anesthesia or something, you're much better off if you can just deep breathe yourself into, just say, I'm here, I've made the decision, I signed the papers, I'm putting my faith in whoever, and I'm just going to rest my body now and let it go and just breathe. So one method is to close your mouth and inhale for 4 seconds, then hold your breath for 7, and then exhale for 8. But there's also one where you do 4, 4, and 4. You inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. So again, you can find a breathing style from all of those apps that I mentioned before, especially if you do meditation. They'll tell you different kinds of ways to breathe in and breathe out. Yoga does it all the time. Yoga has special ways to breathe. You breathe in, close off one nostril, breathe in, then close off the other nostril and breathe out, and change the way you do that. And that is a way to relax and calm your body. So yoga has a lot of ways to teach you how to breathe. Again, close your mouth, inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7, and then exhale for 8. I always forgot to mention that all of this information is available to you on our website, therapygardens.com. If you haven't done it before, we have a wonderful newsletter that comes out every month that gives you a lot of healthy information and usually some really good recipes. The way to get it is to go to therapygardens.com. When the website comes up, there's those 3 little bars in the upper right corner. You press on those, and there's the contact bar, and then you click on that, and it will ask you for your name and your email address and a message box, and you just say you saw the sleep presentation and you'd like it, and they'll email it to you. If you don't use email, your reference librarian could help you at the library, and then you could just pick and choose the slides that you might want to print out for yourself. Oh, I don't think I finished it, though. Practicing safe sleep. So staying organized can help you feel more relaxed and reduce accidents in the middle of the night. So my daughter-in-law, I love her to death, but leftovers do not exist in her house. Clutter is nowhere. In her homes, she has a summer home and her regular home. She has lots of storage space, so it's not hard for her to have things uncluttered. But recently, I stayed at their summer house while they went on vacation, and it was so serene. There was not a thing out of place, and she had everything that you need, but only one of them. You didn't have 3 sets of dishes and 25 teacups, or mugs. Everything was so serene. And I do have difficulty sleeping when I'm in someone else's home by myself. I slept like a baby. It just, the whole atmosphere of being uncluttered and peaceful, and it was incredible. So we're going to talk about Feng Shui in a minute, and the whole point of that is to have a relaxed atmosphere in your bedroom. Make sure your smoke alarms are in working order, and not only smoke alarms, of course, but we also have to make sure we have those carbon dioxide alarms. And a lot of our new alarms, they're good for 10 years. They don't need a new battery, and they are both a smoke alarm and a carbon dioxide alarm. So you really should have one right outside your bedroom, in your kitchen, if you have a basement. There should be at least 3 or 4 of them in your home. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Some people have alarm systems. Make sure you turn on your alarm system. Keep your phone by your bed. Just use the do not disturb feature. A little water in case you wake up in the middle of the night with a cough or something. A lamp that you can reach. You can buy those lamps that you just press a little button on it, and it has a movable arm, and they're very inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon, and they're a really good light to have by your bed because you don't have to reach for the inner part to click on the light. You just tap the bottom of the lamp and the light comes on. Please don't smoke in bed. My sister lost her very best friend. Not smoking in bed. She went down to the basement every night, sat on the couch in their family room, watched the news, and had a cigarette. And she put the cigarette out in her Coca-Cola can, but the ashes didn't go out. And somehow or other, the fire started on the couch, and she died because she went back into the house to get her cat. It was terrible. So smoking in bed or in the house anywhere, not a good idea. And I would add to that candles. We all, well, I shouldn't say we all, but many people like candlelight. They like a candle with a scent. I don't know whether my daughter-in-law thinks I'm getting old or not, because I wouldn't say I'm not, but she might. And she bought me a warming lamp that you put a candle on this little tray, and then there's a gooseneck lamp that goes over it, and you turn on the light, and there's 3 levels of light, and there's 2 hour, 4 hour, or 6 hours that the light will stay on, and it warms the candle, and you don't have to light it. So no need anymore for lighting candles. You just turn on this little lamp, and the scent from the candle, very subtle too, it's not overwhelming. Sometimes a lit candle, it can be really overwhelming. You can also get on Amazon the little lights that will light in water, so you can have a really pretty display of some vases with these little lights in them. You drop them in the water and they light up. You take them out of the water and they stop being lit. They're very pretty. There's a company called Modgy, M-O-D-G-Y, that sells all these plastic containers that are beautifully decorated with Monet and Vincent van Gogh and all these fancy artists, and their vases and little candle holders, and they come with these little lights, and you pop them around your room, and they make it very, very pretty, but you're not going to burn your house down. And keep things like area rugs or clothes off the floor to avoid tripping. Cords, if you have to have an extension cord for something, there's lots of little attachments that you can attach them to your baseboard, or you can tie them with a little tie, but you don't want to have a cord out where you could trip over it. And regulate your room temperature. Sleep interruptions can be caused by this. The ideal temperature for sleeping is between 60 and 67 degrees. Find your ideal temperature through trial and error. So you should be in a cool room, which in this weather probably means an air conditioner. Other ideas, sleep masks, especially if it might not be feasible for you to replace all your curtains or put in new darkening shades, but you can always use a night mask, a sleep mask, to block out the sunlight. If you need a sleep apnea referral, you should make sure that if you're really, really, really waking up 3 and 4 times a night, you should always talk to your doctor about whether or not sleep apnea might be an issue for you and get that checked out. Aromatherapy, lavender is well known to be something that helps calm people at bedtime. Plants, lavender, aloe, and peace lily. So when a plant is in the room, there's 2 thoughts on this. Feng Shui says no plants in the room because they use energy, so they're sapping the energy in the room. But other people feel a lavender plant or something that's exchanging the carbon dioxide, like an aloe vera plant, those are good for your bedroom because they clean the air at night. Regulate your temperature, paint the walls calming colors. We're going to talk about that when we look at Feng Shui. And now Feng Shui, and humidifiers and air purifiers are very helpful. So this is the end of what Dave has put together, but I'm going to switch over to the Feng Shui presentation that I prepared for us. So we'll just finish up on, Dave is the owner of the company, and he puts all this stuff together for us. So rarely is there one solution. Usually it's a bunch of small solutions. Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is the most likely. the 20-minute rule: if nothing works for 20 minutes, get up and walk around. And there is some new research. Here's the new research. How well people think they slept might matter more than how they actually slept. So, a new study finds a connection between how satisfied a person is with their previous night's sleep and their feelings of well-being the next day. So, feng shui, I honestly don't know if it's feng shui or feng shui. Does anybody know? Feng shui is the right one. Okay. It translates to wind and water. And the idea is that you are creating balance and harmony in your space. And all things in the universe have energy according to feng shui. Now, my niece is a kindergarten teacher in East Boston, and her kindergarten class every year has children with 3 or 4 ethnic backgrounds, and none of them speak English. And that can be a chaotic classroom, but she took a feng shui book and she rearranged her classroom, and she said it made an incredible difference. It just had a totally calming effect on the classroom. So that's an anecdote, but there it is. In your bedroom, you want your bedroom to promote restful sleep, improve your health, reduce your anxiety, and boost your energy for the morning. So what do you want to do according to feng shui? Lean the bed against a wall. So the bed should be up against a wall. A low-profile bed is better than a high bed. It's better for us anyway, getting in and out of a low-profile bed than a high bed. My mother, we took the not the top mattress, but the box spring out, so she didn't have to climb into the bed anymore. Use a headboard made of wood or some upholstered material, something natural, not polyester. The furniture in the room should have natural elements in it, any textures, furniture that has a texture to it, woven baskets, maybe some wall hangings. Balance the nightstands. They should be on either side of the bed, equally distanced. No clutter. Really, really want to think about that. No exercise equipment. No electronics except phone or on sleep mode. No obstructions, no scatter rugs, ottomans, anything that you could trip over. You shouldn't have your workspace in there. You shouldn't have a desk in there with all the things that you have to do the next day. These are suggestions. You might not have the space for all of this, but if you did have to put your workspace in there, you might find a way to keep it out of the line of sight when you're in your bed. Lighting should be soft, and the 5 elements of feng shui: wood, so we're looking for wood furniture and frames. Fire, we're looking for scents, so that's when a warming lamp might be helpful. Earth, looking for natural stone or clay accessories, so some kind of sculpture might be helpful. Metal, again, metal frames or metal sculptures. And then we're going to go to colors. So these are all the colors that you could possibly put in your room. There's no bad color here. They just supposedly mean different things. So white means you're going into a space of goodness. I sometimes think maybe if you think of heaven, people think of white lights, that maybe that's why it's associated with goodness. Yellow is associated with health. Green fosters growth. That makes sense. Blue is calm. It enhances wisdom. It's looking for truth. Purple is prosperity and abundance. Red raises energy. In feng shui, they tell you to have a red front door because it's a good way to enter a home with all that red energy entering with you. Pink is for romance. Gray is unfussy balance, but if you use, didn't mean to do that. If you use gray, then you need to use some calming colors as an accent. You don't want everything in the room to be gray. And there are some people, I have a friend who had a black and white bedroom. I thought it was awful, but it's a sign of sophistication, and it does exist in feng shui. And again, this article just encouraged you to put the bed against a wall, diagonally across from the door. Supposedly in feng shui, if the bed is facing the door, it's the spirits going out the door as if you were dead. So they don't want you to do that. And whatever you put on either side of your bed should be equally spaced. So, what kind of questions do we have? Or, yes?
One of the ones, wind?
Yeah.
Or up top says no wind there. Is it that?
No, so feng shui translates to wind and water. Is that what I said, wind and water? So those are just elements. I think it's because they flow, and in feng shui, your home should flow. There should be nothing in your way when you walk across your living room, your kitchen. You know, everything should be open so it can flow. The energy can flow through your home.
Help sleep?
Yes, some people find not only the noise, but just cooling. The cooling effect is very good, especially when it oscillates. Well, I just Googled feng shui for the bedroom, and I got all these articles. But there were plenty of articles about feng shui, and there's books. You take them out at the library. One of the things in feng shui is mirrors and where to place a mirror. And I switched this mirror in my living room so that if I'm standing facing the mirror, my living room is here, my front door is there, and the stairs upstairs are here, and there's a hallway behind me. So when I'm in the hallway, I'm looking at the mirror, and that opened the room up to me. I can see this part of the room, I can see the stairway, and that's supposed to be a really good, relaxing sign. If my mirror, where it was, over in the other side of the room, it would only show me what's across from it. So again, you can find it, you can take courses on it too, but you can find it in a library. Was there a question over here? No? Another question? So the recommendation is 1 glass a day for a woman and 2 glasses a day for a man. And if you go over that, you're stepping into abuse. And if you are drinking 5 or 6 glasses of alcohol, that's really stepping you into the category where your body is getting used to the alcohol, and the alcohol is doing nothing good for your body at that point. 1 glass of wine with dinner probably isn't going to kill you, but 6 or 7 glasses is going to be a bad thing for you.
Martini at 6 o'clock, bad if you only go to 10.
So again, if that doesn't interfere with your sleep, and that's part of your routine at this stage of your life, they told my mother not to eat any more ice cream at 99. She said, I don't think so. So we're not here to tell you this is what you have to do. We're here to tell you, be careful what you do. If you have that martini and then you can't fall asleep at 10 o'clock and you're awake at 3 o'clock in the morning for an hour and a half, then try it without it and see what happens. It's personal. It's very personal. It's how you want your health to be. We give a lot of classes on healthy eating because I love this it takes 2 minutes to say, our bodies make free radicals. They're very bad for us. We can't stop that. They attack good parts of our body, our heart, our lungs, our kidneys, our pancreas, our gallbladder, everything. They can cause disease. The only way to neutralize a free radical is with an antioxidant. The only way you get an antioxidant is with food. You don't get it from McDonald's. You get it from healthy, fresh food. And so the more healthy foods you eat, the more free radicals you're getting rid of, you're neutralizing, and the healthier you're going to be. So you can make a choice. If you get a lot of food takeout, you have to make a choice. What are these doing to me? And what takeout choices could I make that are healthier so that I'm making more free radicals? I'm making more antioxidants than free radicals. And the other thing is that if you do cook at home, the more spices you use, the more boost you get of antioxidants, because every single spice and herb has antioxidants in it. The number one is garlic. It's called, the vitamin of all herbs and spices. It has everything in it that you could want. And of all the herbs and spices, you buy them in the store in the little bottles. You only need 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons to get a boost. So if you're using a lot of spices in your cooking, you're just increasing your antioxidants all the time. And you can put garlic in anything if you like garlic. You put it in your eggs, you put it in your meats, you put it in your soups, you put it in your stews, you put it in your vegetables, you saute with it, you roast it. That's something that we should all, if we like the flavor, should be increasing. So you make the choice of how you want to live this part of your life. How healthy do you want to be? It's pretty clear. You sleep, you get your exercise, you drink in moderation, you don't smoke, and you eat healthy. I have never heard that that is true. I will look that up, but I've looked up these spices left and right. Of course, having your own herb garden is the best way, and you can grow herbs in your home during the winter, just a sunny window, or the plant doesn't know the difference between the sun and a lamp, so just put it under a lamp if you don't have a lot of sun, and you can grow your own herbs. I usually buy the organic herbs when they go on sale. But I'll look that up because I'm sorry. She wondered if spices she read are irradiated before they're sold in the little jars, and that wouldn't be good. And I said, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that, A, and B, I've certainly never heard anybody tell me we shouldn't use those spices, because I've looked up multiple nutrition websites, and they all say that the ground is just as good as the fresh, but the fresh is always better. Well, I hope you all got something out of it today, and you'll try to think a little bit about your sleep patterns.